Hi and welcome back to Classic MGB. Now today we're at JPR Tuning in Yate. Now some of you may remember we've been here before for a taster day. And a lot of the members actually came back because they got massive improvements on their cars. And one such is Chris Brunt. Now he doesn't actually have an MGB, he has an MGA, but it has an MGB engine in it. So I thought close enough. So Chris, tell me, what are you aiming to get out of today?
A few more horsepower.
Yeah.
Just a bit more enjoyment from the car, smoother ride, and to use the electronic ignition that I purchased a couple of years ago and has been sitting on a shelf.
Right, so you're going to put a new, or Harry at JPR is going to put a new distributor, 123 ignition, I think.
A 123 tune, yes.
Right.
So it's sort of Bluetooth tunable from your phone.
Oh, interesting.
But obviously to get the most out of it, to get the variable curve, you need to tune it on a rolling road. And
right.
That's way beyond my capabilities.
Okay, so I understand what you can do. Instead of it just having several pre-programmed curves, you can actually tune each point on the curve to suit your particular engine. Is that right?
Yeah, and I believe add extra points. So
right.
It's sort of infinitely variable.
Wow, so very, very flexible then.
Well, I think especially in my case, it's an MGB engine, around 1974.
Right.
Pretty good condition. But I've used the MGA carburetors, manifolds, so inlets, manifolds. It's got an A exhaust, but it is a sports exhaust.
Right.
So, and different needles. So there's lots of things going on there.
Yeah.
That I've sort of married together in the car that really need pulling together now.
And just getting the tune dead right for your combination of parts, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that the flexibility of the 123 will, be able to do that and marry it all together nicely. Well,
proof's in the pudding. Next stop, Harry, I guess. So those of you that saw the video before, this is Harry from JPR Tuning. He is the guru for tuning. So Harry, tell me, what are we going to do today with...
So today we have Chris back from the MG Rolling Road Dyno Day that we done last year for your car club.
Yep.
And the reason he's back is because he's got an electronic ignition that's been sat on the shelf for a couple of years.
Yeah.
That he's been apprehensive about fitting. After having come here and seen some results that we've had with other cars, he's decided to go ahead and have us fit it rather than do it himself. I'm sure he'll tell you later on that he's got a real mismatch of parts. So the MGB
He already has, actually, yeah.
He's got a whole mismatch of parts. Yeah. He's got old-fashioned carburetors on a more modern type engine with a different drivetrain. So even wheel and tyre size all makes a difference to that combination.
Okay.
And the engine is slightly unknown. Chris believes it to be low mileage, and it probably is. And we're just going to be doing a full rolling road dyno tune on the car from start to finish. So starting with valve clearances, changing out a distributor for him, and then tuning the needles to suit his engine.
Right, okay, sounds like a busy day. Better get on with it.
Yeah. So the first stage is going to be setting the valve clearances because the car's stone cold. So Chris dropped it off kindly last night so we could start from scratch. So we're going to do the valve clearances to start with now. So now the valve clearances are all set, now we can take the car into gear, get it all nice and up to temperature, and then we're going to run the car with the airbox on, monitor what comes out of the exhaust, and then we're going to monitor what comes out of the exhaust with the airbox off, so we have a base mark of how much offset to allow for when we're tuning before we put the airbox back on.
Right.
And the reason we can't put the airbox back on straight away is because once we've found our needle profiles and set our jet heights and we're happy with where we are, we're going to want to then finalise with balancing up the carbs and setting up the linkage. So the airbox needs to stay off until the end. Now we're going to fit Chris's 123 Bluetooth distributor, which connects to your phone. So we're going to do away with his pointer condenser, not because there's anything necessarily wrong with them, just because he wants that future-proofing, that reliability, and he's a bit of a tech buff without knowing. So it offers you to be able to put in your own programmable advanced curve, so you can map it from start to finish, and it'll give you the ability to have a fixed rev limiter and to be able to immobilize the car whenever it's parked up, which is great because this car doesn't lock. It is quite techy, which lots of people with classic cars are quite opposed to, but there's no need really. The modern points condenser are poor quality today, so to upgrade for something decent quality is definitely a plus point and does nothing but good for the car.
Right.
So we're going to get that fitted now.
Okay.
And fit it with a matched coil as well, because the coil on the car right now is of unknown origin. So we'll dummy fit the distributor. The wires come at a preset length, so then you can feed everything round whatever you need to get past in order to get to the coil, to get to your live feed, to get to your earthing points, and then chop it all to suit, and then tape it up and make sure everything goes off in different directions at the right time, and make sure it looks pretty, which is definitely important for this car. So now the distributor is fitted, we are going to put in our own base mat curve, and then we're going to fire the car up to begin with so that we can set the offsets. So you're supposed to set it up on the green light, it comes on, it comes off, and you're supposed to get it so it's just on, but sometimes they're not quite perfect, so you want to fire it up, get a timing light on the front of the engine, and just set it where you know the offset is correct, and then you can start playing from there. So then you can hook up your advance vacuum pipe. So the vacuum will come into play depending on where you are on the throttle. So if you lift right off, you'll get maximum vacuum, and if you put your foot flat to the floor, you'll drop all that vacuum and you'll go back to your centrifugal curve. Every engine is different, so the great thing about the 123 is that you can program that curve differently. Now for a standard car, it's not necessarily massively advantageous, but if you've had an engine built and it's got a lumpy cam, or if you've got forced induction, you can use a boost retard. Or if you've got a little bit too much compression and you still need that advance in the bottom for your lumpy cam, then you don't have to necessarily put it in the mid-range too. So it's about not having to compromise the curve to suit the application. Not huge gains out of a standard car. It's peace of mind that you can fit that distributor and forget about it. So you won't have to look at that distributor again.
So Harry, it's towards the end of the day. How's it gone?
So we've done 7 or 8 dyno pulls on the MGA now, and when Chris came in to begin with, we were at 77 brake horsepower, which was on the low side, but still not super detrimental. And today we've just managed to increase the drivability, make it smoother, perform nicer, give them a better tick over, and we've been able to hold our torque on longer. So whereas before our torque was falling off at 3.6, 3.7, our torque's holding on till 4.5 now, which means that we got 84 brake horsepower, not the 77 that you had before. So 84 is a good...
So good percentage, sort of 10%-ish,
yeah,
isn't it?
7 brake horsepower gain is good for any car that's under 100 brake.
And the torque, presumably, by making that more flat, it makes it much more drivable.
Yes.
It'll pull in higher gears at lower revs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it will do all those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're going to have to get him to drive it now, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure
Proof's in the
it'll be
pudding.
fine.
Nowhere to hide.
Harry, just to say thank you so much for your time today. I mean, there aren't many people that would be happy for us to stick cameras everywhere and film exactly what you're doing, so I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's really nice to see you again,
and as
Graham.
I say, subject to Chris's final say, well, I'd recommend these guys. Certainly other people in our club have had massive gains. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the previous video here where we did the taster day. There was a V8 GT.
There was.
Terry's, and I think he got it up to about 80 or 90 horsepower on the day. You've now got it up to 160.
160.
Which is pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So, and the other thing is, you told me today I have Lumination electronic ignition, and I'm told it's not the greatest, so...
Well, I don't want to be too controversial, but if you want something that's going to get you home, it's going to be a distributor from 123.
I can see a 123 distributor coming on. Right, I'm going to go and sit with Chris and see how we get on.
Cheers,
Harry,
Graham.
thanks a lot, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, we spent most of the day here at JPR Tuning, and this is what it's all about, driving the car. So you're about to start it up for the first time after Harry's worked his magic.
It's been sounding really good on the rolling road, so let's see if it does on the real road.
Absolutely, crack on. It does sound nice, doesn't it?
Starts well.
It's funny, coming from the GT, I feel very vulnerable sitting in an open car with no windows, and it's nice, that. It's nice.
I can still remember your comments driving to Bybury saying, Oh, I wouldn't have a.
Wouldn't have an Oh, that was
closely followed by 10 minutes later. You go, God, I'm hot.
Yeah. Oh, sounds good. It feels fast.
Smooth.
Is it?
It's smooth. Yeah, pulled around there in third well.
It does feel as though it's pulling really well.
I love that gulp of air from the K&N.
It's got acceleration though, hasn't it? You know, for a standard 1800,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. Because obviously in a B, a B's a bit heavier, so you don't quite get that.
I'm not sure how much lighter this is.
Whoa!
First impressions, it's definitely nice and drivable.
Right.
I mean, it was good anyway, but it certainly seems a little bit smoother, which is nice. You know, drop her into fourth now. Only doing what, 1600?
Yeah, it does, and it still pulls away picks up quite nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's got sort of low down grunt still.
I guess that's that even torque that we were seeing on the screen.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm not really sure what that should look like, but it was a perfectly pretty straight flat line, wasn't it?
I think Harry was quite happy with that. He's
Yeah.
knows, isn't he?
Yes.
So yeah.
You know, and as he said, we're not going for absolute ultimate power, because you could be sort of putting the engine at a great risk, not through the power, but more through the sort of timing and pinking and leanness and whatnot.
As he said, you know, you can advance it a long way and get a bit more power potentially, but you know, if you destroy your engine, what's the point? You want flexibility and drivability, don't you?
So she's ticking over about 8.
Yeah. And it sounds, I mean, it's beautifully ticking over very smoothly.
Very. I mean, it wouldn't tick over that low before.
No.
I had it up around 11, 12, just to get an evenness.
Yeah, but that programmable curve in the 123 distributor has obviously helped that a lot.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's made a big difference.
This is rather fun. This is rather, I like this from no windows.
You'll have to come out on a nice sunny day.
Well, yeah, it's still a bit chilly, isn't it? It's still March.
It's still a bit. Yeah, nice, and I've left my scarf back in the workshop. So.
Right, yeah. You did send something yesterday about the hat.
Yes, yeah, I told you to bring a hat, and I've left mine in the car.
But you've got hair, you see. I don't have hair, so
not that much.
But no, this is rather nice. You feel you're sitting lower than it might be, I guess, because the scuttle's higher.
Right, right.
Whoa. It does take off, doesn't it?
She's still pulling in third, wasn't she?
Yeah, oh, good,
yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you could switch back to the previous setting, wouldn't it? And just do an A/B.
See what the difference was, yeah. My classic car career started when I was at uni with a Trans Spitfire. And I then progressed to the MGB.
Right.
And I loved the Spitfire, but it was a bit rough and ready and a bit small.
Right.
The MG was lovely, but it was more of a tourer.
Yeah.
And when I bought this, or you know, wanted to buy one, I was hoping that it would be a nice combination of the two. And it is. It's perfectly in the middle. So I've got the power and the grunt of the B.
Yes.
But with the maneuverability and the fun of a Spitfire.
Yeah.
You know, I just love it.
Yeah.
She does seem smoother. I'm looking for somewhere.
There's no misfire or anything, is there? It's
no,
very, very
there's no pink, no.
No, it's very smooth. But then, of course, yeah.
See, that's me.
Straight away, yeah, that's picking up straight away, isn't it?
Oh, here we go.
But I mean, Harry's done all this on the rolling road, of course, hasn't he?
Yeah, hasn't taken it out of the garage, you know, and it's yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and we're an extra. Is it 6.5 horsepower?
Something like that, yeah. Whoa. You didn't want any tyres then, Chris?
So who says you can't wheel spin in a B?
Well, yeah.
Or an A.
Or an A, yeah. Yes.
She wouldn't actually do that with the before.
Oh, really?
Not since I changed the tyres.
Right. And that's on a dry road.
Yeah. So that was.
I should be careful if you were to take it out in the rain.
So I mean, this is just fun, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
just...
Brilliant.
It's all stock dampers and everything, stock springs.
It must be quite satisfying knowing that you've built this every nut and bolt, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not like...
The first couple of months you're driving it, the first few road trips, you're just constantly listening for every little ting and this and that and the other, and it's so that's quite nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But after a while, you just sort of settle into it.
Comfortable with it, So you don't regret getting an A?
Oh no, no. It's it's a little more unusual.
Yeah. Certainly rarer than Bs.
Yeah. The intention was always to put a B engine in it.
Right.
The fact that it had a C's block in there when I bought it, it just, brought the inevitable about just a quick bit sooner.
Yeah.
I'm in overdrive now.
With overdrive as well?
I'm in overdrive, under 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's still pulling away, not pulling smooth.
1200 RPM.
Yeah. So what's this, overdrive on the third and fourth?
Yes.
You'll have some fun with this on a track day. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
So you
Well, you're welcome to jump in for a hot lap.
Having been driven you on the road, I'm not sure I'm brave enough.
Ooh. I'm hurt.
I'm joking. I'm joking. But it would be, if I'm around, I'll certainly come along and watch.
As someone said, drive it like you stole it.
Well, that's right, yeah.
No point being a trailer queen.
So Chris, what do you reckon? Final thoughts?
Very happy.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's really smooth, good pickup. Yeah,
So-
just really pleased with it.
So if somebody was going to thinking about getting their B-series engine tuned, you'd recommend a JPR?
Thoroughly recommend Harry. I think it's
that's really good.
It's a dark art, but he's got it. It's been really interesting day watching him work.
Super.
How he goes about it all and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah,
Excellent.
really chuffed.
Excellent. So there you go. That's a day at JPR Tuning. So if you've enjoyed the video, it'd be great if you give it a like, share it with anybody you fancy, and of course make comments, because we love responding to the comments. As always, many thanks for watching and take care.